The University of Iowa Athletics Department and the Iowa Farm Bureau reached deep into the old playbook recently, reviving a campaign initiated nearly 3 decades ago. America Needs Farmers, or ANF, was launched in 1985 by legendary Iowa football coach Hayden Fry.
Over the middle, and Hayden Fry says, "Add up, baby!" And the Hawkeyes have taken the lead.
Iowa was the nation's top-ranked team for several weeks that season. The Hawkeyes won the Big Ten championship and advanced to the Rose Bowl. But even as jubilant fans reveled in their team's success, rural America was gripped in what came to be known as the farm crisis, a prolonged economic downturn that drove thousands from the land. Hayden Fry knew the crisis affected not only his players, many of whom hailed from farming communities, but also thousands of Iowa fans whose livelihoods relied heavily on a strong rural economy.
It was tragic. It was terrible, closing down farms and people hurting. And of course, I'd recruited quite a few farm boys on my football team, and they're salt of the earth. They wanted an education. They were hungry. They were well disciplined. They were very strong because they'd been working on the farm. And so I came up with the idea that America needs to know that the farmers need help. And so I came up with the idea of ANF decal, America Needs Farmers. And it was amazing, the great response we got, not only in Iowa, but across the nation.
When Hayden came to us, it was basically a no-brainer. Why not do it? Why not support the people who have been supporting us?
Mike and I were both team captains in 1985, and Hayden approached us with this idea during a time that was really a rough time for farmers, literally in America, but especially here in Iowa. And he came up with the ANF logo, America Needs Farmers, as a way to support the farming community. And back then, Iowa didn't have a lot of big corporate sponsors or anything like that. It was literally, the individual farmer who came to the games, who wrote a check every year to the football program that was the heart and soul of the community of Hawks.
The farm crisis of the 1980s devastated the agricultural sector. As commodity and land prices collapsed, thousands of farmers went bankrupt and were forced to sell their land in an economic crisis that rivaled the Great Depression.
We lost about 20,000 farmers during the 1980s, and that's a terrible loss.
Craig Hill, president of Iowa Farm Bureau, has eagerly endorsed reviving ANF as part of a partnership between his organization and the University of Iowa.
In the 1980s, America needed farmers. Hayden Fry recognized that. But never more than today, the globe needs farmers. So we recognize a growing population and growing demands for food, and America needs farmers and the world needs farmers, and so it's a good idea to bring this back.
While the ANF logo was developed during one of the worst economic times in agricultural history, today's farmers face a new set of challenges. Hill, a fourth-generation livestock farmer from Milo, Iowa, points out that even though producers currently enjoy favorable prices for most major commodities, they also must contend with soaring input costs. That's why the Iowa Farm Bureau and the University of Iowa decided to revive the campaign. And current Iowa head coach Kirk Ferentz followed in his predecessor's footsteps by putting ANF back on the players' helmets. To celebrate the return of ANF, the university and the Farm Bureau declared October 15th ANF Day at famed Kinnick Stadium in Iowa City. The ceremonies featured special activities prior to kickoff of a nationally televised game between Iowa and Northwestern. Market to Market caught up with a couple former Hawkeye players to get their impressions of ANF.
Well, that's how I grew up. I was a farm kid, and I realized the importance of farming, not only to myself, but to the state and to the country. And, what better way to, support such a great cause.
It's a Hawkeye trademark. Coach Fry started it and put a stamp on it and really brought it to life. But now that we're trying to get it going again, and me being a farmer now and owning some farmland, it really strikes home because it is an issue, and we need to get more farmers out there.
The highlight of ANF Day was the University of Iowa's first card stunt. On cue, 70,000 fans in 4 grandstands held up colored cards to reveal a patriotic display of red, white, and blue, and the iconic America Needs Farmers logo. Rural America has come a long ways since the farm crisis of the 1980s. But Hill and Fry still believe ANF is just as relevant today as it was 25 years ago, because America does, in fact, need farmers.
Well, actually, the ANF today may be more important than it was back in 1985 and during the 80s, during the economic depression, because there's less farmers today. More people have moved to the big cities and given up farming, and they've lived an extremely hard life. But the ones that have survived, that have hung in there, do a great, great job, and they need to be recognized for what they've done for America and for the world.
For Market to Market, I'm Laurel Bauer-Bergmeyer.